Tim, we appreciate it. Okay, so we know tomorrow is April 15th. We're talking about tax day. Jonathan Bochese is with us now. He's with the Tax Defense Network. He's going to be our tax expert, kind of breaking everything down for us. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know we're right against the deadline. You got to be a busy man. Let's talk about some of the common misconceptions of tax day, of the deadline. What are some of the people maybe nervous about that they shouldn't be nervous about as we go into tomorrow?
Absolutely. The biggest thing, April 15th, people see it coming, you know, they write it down on their calendar, and they really get nervous about April 15th. And, you know, in reality, a lot of people don't have to be nervous. If you can't get your taxes done, there's a lot of options that you do have. Taxpayers can file an extension, and even if you have a balance, it does ward off a huge penalty, a failure to file penalty. So even if you have a balance due, you're reducing the penalties that you owe by filing that extension. Now, if you don't have a balance, then it's okay if you file a few days late because there's no penalties associated with that.
Well, let's talk about folks who will owe or assume that they will owe some money, but you can't pay the full amount, let's say. What do you do about that? What can you do? Is there an installment type of situation, or are you out of luck?
Well, absolutely. There's installment situations, but the most important thing is to be proactive about it. So if you're sitting down tonight or tomorrow and you're doing your return and you see that you owe a balance that you can't pay by tomorrow and postmark by tomorrow, you need to make sure you file an extension because it's going to save you a 25% failure to file penalty on that balance due. Thereafter, you want to pay as much as you can by the October 15th deadline. From there, you're probably looking at an installment agreement, and depending on how much you owe, there's companies out there like Tax Defense Network that can help you if you owe over $10,000. You know, there are people that owe $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. Self-employed people don't make estimated tax payments. So there are options for all of these people if they go out and look for help.
And many of us may expect a refund. For those folks, you know, we joked earlier, the IRS is probably more proactive going after the folks that owe them as opposed to going after the folks they owe money to. For folks who may anticipate a refund, what does tomorrow mean for them if they don't think they can actually file on time?
It really doesn't mean a whole lot. The IRS gives you 3 years after the April 15th deadline to actually claim a refund from withholdings, which are payments made prior to April 15th. So you have 3 years really to file your return. In the meantime, the IRS could file for you, and they're not going to give you the exemptions and deductions that you normally would claim. So they may file a return for you that shows a balance when you wouldn't have had one. So you have to be careful about it. But if you're not going to owe, it's not really a big deal if you file a few days late, if you need an extra few days to get your profit and loss together or some documents together.
We appreciate that from the Tax Defense Network. A lot of great expertise there for us. And I know a lot of people worried about the date, but don't worry about it. Take it in steps. Take it one bite at a time, as we mentioned as well. We've got a lot of information on our website, firstcoastnews.com. So we've got a couple of